So I always put it on the wheel and then kind of a slap standard, adjust it. Right. Okay. So making the cylinder. So always we're talking about 3 S's, right? Speed, the spinning speed of the wheel, and the moving speed of your hand needs to go together. And then slippery, so constantly you want to make sure that surface is slippery before you each move. And the third one is finding support. Okay, they all start with S. Speed control, slippery, support. Support, you can find some of the spots, sturdier spot to brace your arms together. Okay, so that's the 3 S's. And then first I usually have my finger there to kind of seal it, okay, in the bottom corner, so that the water doesn't get underneath. And then for centering, I usually turn my wheel a bit faster. Not super fast, like this is like 100%. I would say about like maybe 75% of it. Okay, a little bit faster, but not super fast. And then I'm gonna squeeze the clay using 3 points. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 3 point. 1 point here, 1 point here, and the third point is gonna be my right fingertips. Create a triangular shape, and then squeeze the clay, comb it up a little bit. You see that when I'm doing it, I brace my arm here, right? And then after I move it up, I have to, I don't usually go sky high and then try to push it down. I don't do that way. And a little bit water, and then move my left arm here up, and then kind of connect both hands together. Still my right hand is braced in here, and the fingertip there to hold the clay and squeeze it down and push. Okay, I'm pushing from the top, and then my hand is gonna move, okay, down this way, so I will have a cone shape when I'm moving it down. And the right hand is not moving at all. I'm guiding the clay and pushing the clay down into the cone shape. I don't usually like to make the top flat. A lot of people doing that to make the top flat. I don't do that, because when the top is flat and you're ready to push it up again, you're gonna have a volcano there. So I don't usually like to do it that way. So I usually cone, make it a cone. So pushing it down and using my right hand to guide it. You see that the fingertip I was talking about, use that to adjust it. It's very powerful, the tip of fingers. Okay, that. And very soon you got your center. Okay. Yeah, so one more time, triangular shape. Move it up. You see that? A lot of my finger around. See that? That's the more efficient way to transfer your power is the point pressure. Less, instead of using this part, you're losing a lot of effort by trying to push the clay around. So I use the tip of fingers to do that. Okay, and then squeeze it down. Pushing the clay onto the right hand, and the right hand is very steady. The clay has nowhere to go. Okay, so that's the centering process. And once I have a center, I now
can flatten it out a little bit.
Flat the top. Okay. Right, and then I'm ready to open the hole. Usually I will use my thumb to make a small cut. Okay. Again, finding support, so put the hand on the side of it, and using my right thumb, and my left thumb is kind of supporting to squeeze it down. Okay, so this way, my left thumb is helping my right thumb, and my right thumb is connecting here, the elbow here, So when I'm doing it, I'm still controlling the wall. Right, so that's the cup I was talking about. And then slippery again, make sure it's slippery before you each move, right? And then still connecting here, I'm gonna drill more, so I'm gonna use my left hand there to help to dig it in, okay, really drill it in. But in the meantime, when I drill, this hand is loose, right? So you want to find in the support. So I'm bracing the hand, connecting my left hand to my right hand, and my right hand is connecting to the splash pan, and also I'm using my left here to support it. So go and drill it in. Right. In the meantime, I am still compressing the wall. Keep on going. Keep on going until I reach about 5/16. Okay, somewhere between 1/4 of an inch and 3/8 of an inch. And if you're not sure that, you can stop the wheel and check it out with the needle tool. Right, just poke a hole there and get your fingertip there to hold it and guide it. So this is about the thickness I'm looking for. Okay. And now it's when I'm drilling it, see that the shape inside looks like this, like a V shape. But if you're making a cylinder, you want to build up the floor like a U shape. So you want to go and spread it out using the fingertip and bring it the clay. Okay, spread it out toward my right hand. Okay, and you can go back there and compress a couple times for the base. And you see that I'm making a small indentation. The fingertip, I move it in, little indentation. So later on, I'm gonna bring the clay from there, from the indentation. Alright, so let's go and compress it again, a couple times. Right. So at the beginning, we're talking about be 75% of the full power, right? Opening, and now I'm ready to raise it up, slow down the speed of the wheel. Okay, I would say about like 60%, 50%. Okay, and then since my clay is quite thick here, so I'm going to raise it up just by lifting it. The outside hand is supporting it. I'm basically using the inside hand to the lifting. The outside hand is just supporting it. Okay? So use the inside hand and do the heavy lifting and make sure the wall is getting thinner, and so I'm moving it up slowly. So you see the wall is thinner, right? It's not as thick as it used to be. I can do one more time, because since in the bottom I still have lots of clay there, and I can spread out the bottom, like go move out a little bit more. Slippery, right? I'm gonna raise it again using the tip. And you can see that my hand motion is always low, right? Slow. Compress the rim, right? Put the slip back to work. Get the slip back to work here. So you see that I don't squeeze a lot of water. The water doesn't stick on the surface. It's the slip that stick to the surface. So you make it slippery using you remove the slip from your fingertips. Right. Okay. And then when I'm ready to raise it up, I usually like to get my cylinder a little bit narrow, so that I will be able to raise it up higher. So first I'm getting this corner using these fingertips, bring it in.
So you're squeezing.
Squeeze
the
it
bottom.
in. Squeeze in the bottom. So
Yeah.
the bottom gets in there. On, collar in.
So the purpose of the collaring in at this point is to maintain the shape.
Maintain the shape. Get it taller. When you collar in, your piece is gonna increase the height a bit.
It will.
Oh, well, yeah. Yeah, you push the clay and it gets higher, and then you pull it up, and if you thin it, you get it wider, and then you color in. That's how you get it increase the height
Okay.
little by little. Yeah.
So that's a really critical step.
Oh yeah. Okay, so slippery, and now I'm showing you that the thumb method, right?
Yeah.
So extend the thumb, and here, okay, facing you, and no gap, right? And
Mind again.
get the middle finger there to point it to your thumb. Right, relax your wrist, and you move down like that. See that I'm connecting my elbow to my body, right? So when I'm raising it up, it's like that. Okay, so you can lean your body a little forward. If you go like that, your wrist is gonna hurt.
Yeah.
It's gonna be sore. But if you lean your body, then see that the thumb is pointing down, right? So you want the thumb point down, and then more or less this part is holding the side of the cylinder. Okay?
Thumb pointing down, but no gap.
Thumb point down, no gap. Yeah,
Okay.
like that. All right, and now I'm raising the wall using my fingers inside.
So your middle finger is pointing towards your thumb, correct?
Yes. Let me move it up.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's that. The thumb and the middle finger. And actually you can see that all the fingers get into work, but it's just that the thumb is pointed to the middle finger, but all your finger is moving.
Are working.
Yeah, it's working inside too.
By
yeah.
pointing to your middle finger,
Yes.
you're maintaining the
Yes.
correct position.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you compress the rim. So you see that I'm moving. You see all the gap, all the distance, the same. It means that I'm moving my hand consistent according to the speed of the wheel.
Right.
You have a whole circle, and then we move up whole circle. You move up whole circle, and you move up. Okay. Consistent. And the next move again. Before I do that,
Collar.
slippery.
And
Okay, and you can color in, make it smaller, right? Slippery, and you can color in. So by color it in, you make it a little bit taller. Compressed it, and put the slip back to work. Back to work. Right. And then let's do the lifting again. Slippery, the thumb and the fingers inside. And when you can connect, you see that my left thumb is, once I move to the top, my thumb is going out and connecting my right hand. And bring it up all the way, and compress it again. Right, and you can also, if the top is getting too thick, you can go back there and just focus the top.
just do the top.
Just do the top. Yeah, you don't need to always bring the clay from the bottom. You can focus here, right, and pinch it. You see that I'm stabilizing my thumb. Get the index finger there, and just go on lift in from there to thin down the top. And you see that I increase the height and make it thinner and compress. Right. Okay, let's put the slip back to work. Remove the slip from the fingertips. Put it back inside and coat it on the inside before you pour up again. And you want to make sure it's slippery everywhere. Right. A little bit clay on the bottom corner, you can always lift it in, right? So that you don't waste too much clay on the bottom corner. Okay, move it in. Slippery. Remove the slip. You can put it here. Right? Once you feel kind of not enough, just
You've got a little spot.
a little spot there, right? So slippery, squeeze it and you see that? Why I have this? My finger inside is pushing it out, and the thumb is underneath. So you see that I have lots of this when I'm moving up, so I can move a lot of clay, a large amount of clay faster. So push it out, and the thumb is underneath, and you move it up. Okay. So that's why you see this. Let's go back there and keep on. Keep the rim a bit smaller and compress the rim straight up, focus the top. Okay.
Beautiful.
The whole piece is still very straight. Right. Okay, slippery again. And you see that my cylinder is narrow. It just, my arm can go in enough. That's all. You don't make it wider.
Yeah.
Keep it narrow. Okay, so let's do the final lifting. Slippery again. Right, so this is what we call throw it to the limit of the clay. When you pull it up and raise it up, you see that this part start to get wobbly.
Yeah.
That means clay is thin.
Yeah.
So you want to keep on pulling. If you keep on pulling, eventually it's going to collapse. Yeah. So that's the code. We push it to the limit of the clay, and then from this point you can stretch it out to make your shape. Okay. So I usually use the rib to compress it. Okay, compress and get rid of all the throwing mark.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is what I usually hold it this way and pushing the clay onto my rib and move up. I'm stretching a little bit, and so you see that all the throw mark is gone. And when you are using the rib, no water at all.
Yeah.
See that I don't put the water onto the surface.
Because you've got enough moisture on the clay already.
Yeah, and it is slippery enough, so. And just slowly increase the cylinder. Expand it a little bit. Right.
Now, are your fingertips on the rib? Are they on when you're inside?
Mm-hmm.
Show me where the fingertips would be in relationship to the rib.
So the rib is the little force is right here, on this part here.
Mm-hmm.
So the inside fingertip is pushing that lightly, and using this part outside to guide it. So
Okay,
the
so
fingertip-
it's pretty, just a very kind of a small area. where you-
small area,
Yeah, okay.
small area. Yeah, unless you want to keep it straight, then yeah, you hold it straight. But actually, you see that it's a curve and a line, so it's only one point.
Yeah, okay.
There's a curve, right, and this is a straight line,
Yeah.
right? So curve and line is only one point that touch it. Push it out a bit more. You want to do it slowly, yeah, when you are shaping. See that? And you see that when I'm shaping, I didn't even touch the top. Keep the top thick and small.
Yeah, so you can do whatever you want. with
And you
the
can do
top.
whatever when you close it. You still have some clay there to
Yeah.
close, or raise it a little bit taller. Okay,
Mm.
so and that's the wooden rib, and then the final shaping I usually use my metal one, so that you have a nicer curve.
Mhm.
Okay, you can bend it. So like here, lightly bend it, and here I like it to expand a little bit more. Okay. Yep. Before I do further, there's a little slip inside. You can remove it now. So once this is open and big enough, just get your hand there. You don't need to have a stick and sponge to go there and absorb it out, right? So that's when you do it, when the opening is still wide enough. Okay, let me expand it a little bit more so that you can see how the clay being stretched. So I totally changed the shape,
Yeah,
right? Smaller base and small cylinder. Now it's more like
beautiful.
stretch it out. You can go back there. See that when you are shaping it, your eyesight is not always focused on your rib. Okay, your eyesight is casting that, the curve that you need to see which spot need to come out a little bit more. So it's the curve, the farther curve.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's when you are shaping. right? So you take care of all the base, and then you do the top, the final step.
What do you envision for the top?
I will probably, since I still have enough clay on the top, so I will try to make it smaller.
Okay.
Okay, small opening. It's a little bit challenging that when you have a large opening and then you want to shrink it.
Yeah.
A little bit challenging. Okay.
What is the challenge?
Because first you need to have enough clay there to work with.
Right.
And then the shoulder here, you don't be too much of a horizontal way.
Yeah.
So you have a little bit more this way. So when you close it, it doesn't collapse.
Yeah.
Usually people, when they try to shrink, make it smaller, it collapses because this part is too much of horizontal.
Yeah. Okay. Loses its strength.
Yeah. So before I close it, I probably don't want this part too much horizontal, so I will push it up a little bit on the shoulder. And then, yeah, at this point, I don't usually like to use the 6 point or whatever to color in. I kind of pour the clay toward the center. So a little bit here, and I'm pouring the clay toward the center. And with the fingers there inside to support this part here, because this part usually gets wobbly while I'm pouring it. So put the finger there to support it, and use my thumb. You see the thumb? It's doing the job to move the clay toward the center.
So you're not really pulling; you're just pushing.
Pushing, yeah, pushing it.
Yeah.
Using the clay to go there, so it will be smaller. So there's a little support. The finger needs to support the shoulder, and using the thumb to move the clay toward the center. Before I close further, I want to get this part to follow the curve, the whole curve. So I go back there and slightly push out. Move it in and then open up a little bit so that structurally I have a support. sometimes I like to have a little
That's a lug.
line there, yeah. And I can compress down so the rim will be a bit thicker. Curve, a little curve here on my wooden knife. Okay, then go back there. Coming up again. And you see that I take my time to make the shape.
Yeah.
Usually when I'm lifting and pulling, it's probably 1/3 of my time, but 2/3 of my time is shaping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doing a final product. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then after that, trim the bottom corner like I told you, holding it like a pencil. And then take your time, slowly go until I hit the bed. Now hit the bed, pull out my tool, and just get the thinner blade. You undercut it until you see the tip of the needle. Stop the wheel and cut. And clean up the bed.
Beautiful.
And sponge it off so you can remove it from the wheel. Sitting on the bed. Right. So that's the, this is about 4 pounds, I would say 4 pounds of clay.
It's really lovely.
Yeah. So from the beginning and you finish it up slowly.
Yeah.
Let's cut it open. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah. So that you will be able to see.
Oh.
That bottom usually it's a little bit thicker. Okay. So once let me raise it up so you can see the inside of the wall. Okay. So it's very evenly distributed, except for the very bottom. The very bottom, you need to have some kind of a support, so it will be a bit thicker. And you are going to trim it later on. So just remove a little bit clay from the base, and then you cut, and you trim your base like that. Okay. So that's the clay.
That's 37 years of experience.